Welcome to Political Sin. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how the DOJ is suing Facebook over H1 visas, over the abuse of H1B visas. And I made a video not too long ago about how immigration hurts American workers. And there's been many people, let's say high up, well-established experts, has covered this kind of thing. And when you talk to just like the average person about immigration, it always ends up being it's racist, it's racist, it's racist. No, it's not about racism. It's literally about people trying to get a job, and your job is literally being shipped away to a foreigner, someone that doesn't even live here. So it's kind of like this, I feel like it's that South Park running joke. They took our jobs, right? They took our jobs. That didn't just come out of nowhere. It's not just a parody. It's not just satire. It's a real thing. And the DOJ is suing Facebook over a 2-year process of investigating certain, over like 2,600 like jobs that were shipped away illegally, preferring these non-citizens, non-US citizens over US citizens. So let's just make this not about the US, right? Let's just say I'm in Vietnam, right? If I'm in Vietnam, I gotta get a job. Like any other place, you gotta get a job to live. What if the company I'm trying to work for in that country was shipping away all the jobs within the country to somewhere else? So what does that happen? What happens when you don't have a job? In a good economy, maybe it could be, it's maybe not that big of a deal because you have other alternatives. You have other companies. Well, I didn't get hired at Facebook, Google, or whatever, right? Now I could be like, okay, well, I'll just apply here. I could still make a decent living. Good, all gravy, right? But not so fast. What happens in, let's say, the coronavirus epidemic now, right? I think unemployment is like 10% or something like that. It's not good. We're in a recession, right? If you are still preferring to hire immigrants or H1B visa people over your own US citizens, you are letting your own people basically suffer. You're letting it's like really unethical and it's illegal to hire and prefer other non-US citizens over your own people. So what happens when you can't get a job? When you can't get a job, you are unemployed. You don't make money. You can't do a lot of things. And when you can't do a lot of things, if it spirals down and it gets worse and worse, maybe you are a person that ends up on welfare or something like that. So now you just become a tax burden. So talking about H1B visas, talking about how tech companies kind of abuse this. And I've watched like a few other channels where people that work in the tech industry, like this is they know this. Silicon Valley, they know this. Why they hire people on H1B visas is because one is cheaper to control. It's always about control, guys. If you could have slave labor and you could get away with it, and you could hire someone forever and they're producing and doing everything for you for a long period of time, that's good for the business. So that's one extreme. The more ethical way is, that's why we don't have child labor. That's why we have these laws where you have to like hire your own people. And that sounds like a obvious, yeah, why don't you just hire Americans for an American company that is on American soil, right? No, to these companies, they just want it's profit driven, and it's also control driven, because American workers, people like us that are born here, we like to change jobs. We like to do many different things. We could tell the employer, here's our 2 weeks, and we move on. With these people under these visas, you do on for Mark Zuckerberg or whoever company, just any company, if you hire someone on an H1B visa, you do this job, you do what we tell you, or essentially we're just going to ship you and deport you back. So that's kind of the dynamic in hiring an immigrant worker over hiring an American worker. So in the on the other video, I talked about how, it's really the high school graduates and lower that get the most affected by illegal immigrants. In this case, the DOJ has literally showed have evidence to show that Facebook has been illegally hiring people, preferring people, and created a process where they deterred American applicants or deterred American people to apply to these jobs, and they haven't properly displayed these jobs so people know what jobs are open. Because what Facebook is essentially doing is just, look, we have this program, we're just gonna put this somewhere so people kind of understand that we have these job openings, but we're saving this for these H1B visa applicants. Now, I'm not someone that's against immigration. I'm not against this completely. I think having other people that have various skills that maybe American workers don't have, right? I think that is a possibility that we should let these people that can do these jobs come in. But if there are able American people, workers that can do these jobs that are well qualified, that's like the one thing that you guys need to understand. Like, we have well qualified people that can do these jobs. It's just these FANG companies are totally just using a cheaper option where they have more control over the worker to do their bidding, to do the job, to do whatever it is on, less of a headache, all these things. And because they're immigrants, because they're coming from, let's say they're coming from a less fortunate country, they're going to work even harder. They're going to work harder and they're going to get paid less to do what these companies want them to do. So, I understand like the trade-offs between hiring an immigrant and overhiring an American worker. But if we're in a recession, if we're in an environment where workers don't have other options, so this is 2,600 jobs. This is not like 5 jobs here and there. This is like 2,600 jobs and more. And there's these other programs. I guess there's a program called the PERM or whatever, where I think in the article or under the Department of Justice said 99.7% of its PERM positions, while comparable positions at Facebook that were advertised on its careers website during a similar time period typically attracted 100 or more applicants each. These U.S. workers were denied an opportunity to be considered for the jobs Facebook sought to channel to temporary visa holders, according to the lawsuit. So this is just visa abuse. This is why Trump made it illegal for a temporary time period for people that have visas, for people to come here and work. Because when you're in a recession, you have to understand the environment that we're in. We're in a recession because of the pandemic. Less money, less capital. People are getting laid off. And how does it make sense to you to not take care of your own people first? And to keep hiring more and more people that don't even live here, that are not even U.S. citizens. So I'm not against immigration, guys. I believe it's best to keep people's most, selfishly, I want the most talented people in America. I want Silicon Valleys in America. I want the smartest people in America, selfishly. But at the end of the day, some of these smart people can change their own country. They can make their country be a competitor to America, create other companies there, create a better environment for the world. That's what I want. I want a bunch of Americas out there, better versions of America out there. But we have to be able to take care of our own. If countries learn to be more self-sufficient and able to train their own workers to be and create an economy for themselves to be more beneficial as a whole, we wouldn't have to go out there and try to steal all these other workers out there on the cheap. That's basically it. Facebook and many other tech companies, they use H1B visas. You know, in some cases, it's for legitimate purposes that maybe these applicants or these workers can only do. But most of these jobs, what it seems like is most of these jobs, qualified American workers can do these jobs. And the DOJ is going after Facebook. And there's many reasons to go after tech companies these days. But I just want to talk about that and how that pretty much relates to immigration and how that hurts American workers. I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know what you guys think. Am I wrong? Should we just hire 5 million immigrant workers? Should we just replace all of our jobs with just immigrant workers or illegal immigrants? How do you guys feel? Let me know in the comments. Like the video, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one.